How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Yeah.
Great.
Thanks
for
very much.
joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Well, I will stop my video and you can share.
Yeah. Okay. So thanks, Michael, for that kind of intro and such. And just, for everybody there, it's great to be with you today. I'm just super pumped and excited really to kind of kick off this conference and tell you a little bit about BCV and the separately managed account. So I would say when I survey topics out there in organizations and such, key things advisors face, and Michael summarized a bunch of them there, but, excellence in asset management is a key thing. Your accounts have to perform. And then I would say the ever-changing compliance network is a constant frustration for many in the industry. And then I would say the biggest right now we've seen, especially over the last 5 years, would be the massive disruption, the digitization, and the interface between our clients and what we have to do in terms of efficiencies is driving this industry and changing it. So reacting proactively and making sure you're on the cutting edge of that to us is a key factor. So anyway, so let me jump into my presentation and we'll go here. There we go. Okay, so what you see there now is a picture of a landscape in Winnipeg. If you're not from Winnipeg, that's the Canadian Human Rights Museum on the left, and a bridge, the Provencher Bridge, which is probably our prettiest bridge in Winnipeg. But that connects St. Boniface to Winnipeg. So a little bit about myself. I joined BCV Asset Management 14 years ago. I committed and happy to work for the team here, and really happy that the team that we've assembled and what we've accomplished here over the last 14 years. So what, previous to that, before I was here for 14 years, I used to work at a competing high net worth institution and then a couple of larger banks in various divisions. But what I want to get through today for you is, really in 20 minutes, that's all I want your attention for, 20 minutes. I know Zoom team calls are great for logistics and efficiency, but no one can stare at a screen for too long before your eyes start to bug out. But give me 20 minutes and I'm going to basically make sure you understand what's BCV Asset Management, and what's our value proposition, what makes us special, what makes us unique, and then the separately managed account. Why should you care? Isn't it all about performance, and why should a separately managed account be such a focus? So I would say when we started BCV, we tried to focus on a couple of different things, and service was a key factor, but also simplicity. And simplicity was something I learned a longer time ago before I joined BCV, when I was working for a larger Canadian bank in their high net worth division. It was not a royal blue division bank, but a kind of lighter blue, if you probably would understand that. But I was in a meeting with an older gentleman that had a large real estate portfolio, multiple millions, but he also had a sizable investment portfolio that was full of Canadian income trusts. And those of you that were, around kind of in the 2000 to 2005 circa year know that income trusts were a key thing. It was the post-tech boom bust, and everyone wanted income. And so, a lot of small Canadian companies, some energy businesses, all kind of became trust and started paying out the cash flow because it was relatively efficient. The government was starting to lose tax revenue. So anyway, I explained in detail why the portfolio probably at my firm at that time was better than a portfolio full of Canadian income trusts. And at the end of the meeting, which went relatively well, although he did not become a client, but he whispered in my ear, "Kiss," to which took me back. And then I didn't quite catch on what he was getting at. So then he said it again, and then he defined it. And he said, "Keep it simple, stupid." And it was said in a somewhat condescending tone. I swallowed hard, was diplomatic, and realized that while he was wrong, he was right about one thing. And that is, if the message to the client isn't simple and be able to be understood, doesn't matter how sophisticated the approach is, it won't get through. And so while I was vindicated probably about 6 months later when the Halloween massacre happened, when Jim Flaherty changed the tax rates on income trusts and they really never recovered. I realized and took that and still remember to that day that clients have to get it. your message has to be simple enough that they can understand it. And so that's part of BCV's investment strategy and the SMA. It resonates with clients, and it's part of our success. So, in looking at BCV and, our success that we've had, I mean, I'm kind of equally impressed with the fact that we've been able to, deliver impressive results for clients, but also that we've been able to attract, 160 different advisors. And those advisors referred assets constitute like 93.5% of our business. The independent channel, the referral channel, is our business. And BCV really gets that, and we can build the right portfolio for your client as a key. So, BCV is a focused company as well. I mean, we need to do what we do, and we need to do it well. And we understand that. We get the relationship sharing side of this business, which some firms can have challenges with. And I'll go to custody, which is an exciting thing here. We don't custody assets here at BCV, but, some of you will have read the Globe yesterday, and, a rather larger firm in some sense, Bridging Finance, that a lot of us probably have never heard of, has been accused of self-dealing and missing money. And I guess that will always happen. There's always bad actors in asset management in any industry necessarily, but an independent third-party custodian, that verifies assets just doesn't allow for misrepresentation. And, that's a key factor in a lot of scandals where all of a sudden, something changes and, someone's mislooking, trying to find the money. When you have a third-party custodian, it's an independent check. And that is a key factor. And if I was to go into who we use, we have a relationship with Aviso Wealth, which is a larger credit union-owned company. But our largest relationship is with National Bank, which is NBIN, which is really where most of our assets reside. We're a regulated portfolio manager with 2.6 billion of assets, but National NBIN has about over 160 billion of assets, and they're backed by National Bank. So I think there's roughly just under 400 clients they have, and so that's their business, is to basically be a trusted custodian for the client's assets, and for BCV to have the privilege to manage your client's assets. And we talked a little bit about a CFA and a code of ethics, and Michael mentioned a little bit about that. But when you look at our portfolio management team, we do value that. Annually, charter holders have to make a commitment to professionalism, acting with integrity. We want to exercise, obviously, professional judgment and how we kind of perform our duty and such, and always act in the client's best interest. So, at BCV, a team approach of competent professionals, we think is a good way to a better than average way to deliver success for your clients. And sorry about that. And we also value diversity in the team. You can see, in terms of a gender and age bracket, because we think that's a good factor and gives us a broader perspectives as a world is ever changing. One has to, change in some factors, but some factors won't change. And one of the things won't change is our investment philosophy. You can see, these are key factors that we use that are, I'll call, enduring. There's lots of things change in this world, but I would say these key factors will give us a much better, average in terms of being able to achieve investment excellence. And so if I just look at, the last 14 years this firm's gone in terms of trying to, catch themes and invest appropriately. It was like 14 years ago when, Goldman Sachs, was making predictions that oil was going to $200 a barrel. There was a guy named Matthew Simmons who, had studied some of the Saudi Arabian oil fields, and apparently we were going to be running out of oil. Maybe that wouldn't be a problem anymore, but back then it was a problem because, of course, China needed everything, and commodities were, everyone had to own commodities because, remember that was back when Canadian dollar was at par because everyone owned commodities, and lots of things Canada had was commodities. So then there was, of course, a small little housing bust, and what to do, and banks and financials are collapsing south of the border, and add in there Greece and gold's boom and bust. And then a certain president that we selected south of the border that kind of liked Twitter a lot. And we seem to, have various Twitter fights with a certain leader in North Korea. So, panic markets happening, chaos. And, I'll show you at the end kind of our track record through all that. But I would draw your attention to, this Saturday, Warren Buffett, his annual meeting for Berkshire Hathaway, and his approach is, somewhat similar to us. It's his approach is generated over the last 50 years, I think 19% compound average annual returns in book value, which is, pretty astronomical. Those last 10 years, he's underperformed the S&P 500, but still a pretty strong result. But this approach, you can kind of put aside. You have to take into consideration the economic landscape and what's happening, but following companies and businesses that are succeeding and growing and outcompeting their peers, it works in the long term. And an SMA helps clients kind of get connected to their portfolio, and let me tell you a few things about that. So, a separately managed account, it can be simple. It's a client's portfolio, but when you're trying to attract high net worth clients, they don't want to be, a cookie cutter. They want customization. They sometimes want tweaks to their portfolio. And so, BCV will build unique portfolios to make sure they fit for the clients. Transparency, clients will see our successes and our failures, and we don't hide them. And we think that helps trust, which is a key factor that's always generally going to be needed at some point, because markets don't always go straight up. So reporting, you're going to see an aggregate of all client assets at BCV, in terms of value added, but clients get a reporting that shows what their returns in their portfolio have generated. And that helps, over time, markets may be up, down in any one year, but you can see in a graphical way, what your asset, the money you've given BCV less what you've taken it versus what your portfolio is at. So a lot of numbers, but a picture helps clients, see what their benchmark's done, what the money's done, and what value added we've been able to generate. And so, another factor I would say is tax. High net worth clients, tax efficiency can be an issue. So we can handle that. We can code accounts that clients have more sensitivity to tax. We can pull them out of, larger trades we do. Individual portfolio managers can manage portfolios. We like to be tax efficient in general, but we can tweak it to make sure that we're sensitive to tax for any clients, whether it's a capital dividend account out of a corporation we're doing, but portfolios definitely can be customized. Research. If BCV has a large investment team, but we get access to all the big bank research as we trade with them. We, have lots of analysts talk, and we talk to companies. We're a firm that, companies want to talk to, and we like to do due diligence directly with our businesses, because end of the day, we want to make sure our knowledge is complete when we're making decisions. So another factor I would give you would be, customization in terms of the ESG. So making sure, clients' portfolios have, that meets their ethical or socially responsible considerations is a key factor. We incorporate those into all our decision making, but not everyone's ethics is exactly the same. And so we want to make sure clients, their personal, beliefs and ethics align with their portfolio. And so we can make sure that portfolio is customized to make that in consideration. Also, some clients will have assets otherwise, so we can customize the asset mix and certain allocations to make sure the portfolio is appropriate for their household of assets that might not all be with BCV. Management fees, they're competitive, they're tax deductible, and Michelle, my colleague on Thursday, is going to talk a little bit about, how we can customize those to make sure they fit for your client. We don't want to be as I said, a cookie cutter approach. Fees are always going to be, I'll call under a bit of pressure. There's Wealthsimple, there's Robinhood, there's, constant digitization, there's Questrade commercials. There's, fees are going to be under compression. You can't see how that's not going to change, but BCV can offer, a bespoke service, and with fee flexibility, that's a very, I'll call value added service. And I would say can differentiate, our offering to a lot out there's and be very compelling. And the last thing I would give you would be service. I'll give you an example where Amazon, which would probably be a good company to emulate, but their business objective is customer obsession rather than competitor focus. So focused on your company, passion for invention, a commitment to operational excellence, and long-term thinking. And when I think about BCV, we are long-term focused. That's our investment strategy. Doesn't work in the short term. It works over the long term. Our investment team has a passion for investing. They love following companies. They like following this industry, this in economics. We remain laser focused on our customer, which is you, the advisor. And we always want to deliver excellent operations, whether it's opening, closing accounts, moving money activities, timeliness, and making sure things don't get messed up. So, service is a key differentiating factor at BCV. And so when you look at kind of the summary of what we do here at BCV and you put all those together, we think it's a compelling offering. It's simple, but simple works. And so, the separately managed account, you combine that with excellent advisor service and our investment approach that doesn't deliver, kind of third, fourth quartile returns. Yeah, we don't always, we're not always first quartile, but the underperformance is minimized when you're focused on high quality businesses that are executing and winning in the marketplace. And so this is a winning result, and it creates a happy client, a happy advisor, and obviously BCV, a happy asset manager. And so this is a video on our website, and it has some voiceover, but here you'll see basically our advisors who have constantly entrusted us with their clients and referred to us clients over 14 years. And, portfolios have performed, time and time again. And you can see kind of net value added is like almost $1 billion on our kind of 2.6 billion here. And so, all those sort of events that kind of, the news panicked and people kind of tried to figure out what to do, we continue to be focused, on our key factors, which is, our value, or quality, dividends, patience, and concentration. And you'll see videos like this actually on our website, which you can see next, which is on our site, that can help kind of communicate the message, especially for your client. They're written for clients to absorb, to be able to digest. They're 1-minute videos, and there's a longer 3-minute videos, because sometimes people want to consume media, not read. And so, yeah, that's the BCV story. You'll see my colleague come up here and on Wednesday, Chris is going to dive in at 10:10 on kind of how we select equities and how we select fixed income to drive our results, part of what we do. And then Michelle will dive deeper on Thursday into our, how we service advisors, how we get it right with, utilizing the SMA and servicing your client, and to provide that whole service. So that is my presentation, and I think I did it in less than 20 minutes, which was my goal. So I will unshare my screen here. And I forgot to tell you to send me questions via the chat box, but I'm available. You can get my contact information at the website, and Michael obviously would have it as well. And with that, Michael, do you have any questions, or
That's great, Todd.
Yeah, introduce.
Thanks so much.